Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, welcome to the Biz Birthday Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake, obviously, as you know. So today we are talking all about Etsy ads, because I feel like this is like this newfound thing for me with Etsy ads. I've been experimenting with them for the past 6 months now. Want to have a full year under my belt so I can tell you guys even more things, but I want to share the things that I've learned with Etsy ads and why I think you should be using them, when to start using them, how to even understand what's going to give you the best return on investment with ads, and all those things. So we're going to be doing a lot today, and I'm a little frazzled today, guys. So sorry if this gets a little cray-cray, but I'm going to do the best I can to bring it right back on track. But little disclaimer, just like Elizabeth loves her disclaimers, I'm doing one this time. Etsy ads are not a magic switch to getting sales, and I don't want to give you like that expectation, like as soon as you turn on ads, you're just going to be like super successful and have tons of orders and it's going to be great. It is not about that. Etsy ads will only enhance what you're already doing. So if your listings suck and your Etsy shop looks like a dumpster fire, then the ads are just going to continue to make your dumpster fire burn even more, because you're just going to be throwing money into the fire. So first things first, you have to get your Etsy set up correctly, and I'll share about how you can optimize your listings for that as well. And then, of course, with ads too, success with ads is going to look different based on your goal. Like obviously, our goal is to make money. But part of my Etsy ad strategy is also generating more sales to kind of grow my organic search growth on Etsy as well. And we'll talk more about that. Woo! So yeah, guys, get ready. You're going to need notes for this one because it's a lot.
Yeah, and I was going to say too that I know we're going to have like podcast notes for this technically up online. So if there are things getting lost, you can definitely reference that. We still can't make any promises for like necessarily how much sense it will make, because you should see the note document. It is insanity. And just like for context too, Cami and Alex are about to leave on their annual ski trip next week. So the reason Cami is frazzled while we're recording this is because she has probably like a bajillion orders to ship out. And I'm like, we've just got to get this episode done, Cami. We've just got to get it done. And then you'll be free to go and to like do all your stuff. But I think the energy will pay off. Don't worry.
Totally.
Like we got
this, you guys. So let's see. I started using Etsy ads basically last Christmas season, and I was like shocked by how much I feel like it helped things, and just kind of like got things rolling for me. Even if I made money with it, but I'm like, the success from it honestly came from just like increasing my overall sales, which kind of like made 2021 going to 2021 feel a lot less scary, because I kind of just had this like snowball growth going on with my Etsy shop. And the growth I saw, just like conversions and views and clicks, was like insane, like insane from Etsy ads. So I'm really excited to like talk more about it. But I wanted to just like go over quickly some little terms to know, just like a little glossary time, little dictionary time, you guys. So a couple terms: click-through rate. So that's like the ratio between views and clicks, like how many times someone views your listing versus how many times they actually click on it. So the click-through rate, we want that to be high, obviously. The conversion rate, we want this to be very high. This is the ratio between visits and completed orders. So if 10 people are looking at your listing and 1 is clicking and buying it, then your conversion rate is what, 10%? So that's great. Cost per click, CPC. This is how Etsy does their ads. This is like you pay based on how many people click on your ad. So when you run ads with Etsy, you're basically paying, their ad cost per click is pretty high, like 25 cents, 20 cents, depending on like how not important, like that's a good one. I'll go with that word. How important that keyword is, like how strong it is and how many people are bidding for it, the cost per click is going to be higher. So if it's not a very popular keyword, then the cost per click is going to be lower. So your Etsy ads aren't always like, oh, it's always 25 cents. Like sometimes it could be 70 cents or like 13 cents. But the way they've set it up on the back end now, you don't see the cost per click as much. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't want to like go too deep into that part. And then the next term we're going to talk about too is return on advertising spent, which is very important, or your ROAS. Basically, for every dollar you spend on advertising, how many dollars in revenue are generated? And we'll talk about like a good benchmark for this too.
Perfect. Yes, I think that was a really good introduction for people who are completely unfamiliar with what happens on the back end, like myself included, because I don't do a ton of Etsy ads.
Yeah, and Etsy ads, basically, the whole point of them is that you're getting your listings on the first page of that search term. So if someone's searching watercolor art print and you have all your keywords lined up on your Etsy listing and you have an ad turned on for one of your listings, it will show up in the first page of Etsy search, because we know like if your listing is in page 10 of Etsy searches, like it might as well just not even be there at all. Like you want to be as close to the front as possible because people aren't clicking through to like 30 pages deep typically. So it's all about just getting as much visibility as you possibly can on your listings.
Perfect. So are you going to give some tips then for how people can get some organic visibility first? Or like where do you want to start breaking all of it down?
That's a really good question, Elizabeth. Yeah, let's talk about like, actually, no, I'm going to talk about just ads and then I'll talk about like how to maximize them with organic visibility.
Okay.
Because you can still get some traction with ads without having that organic visibility when you do like new listings and stuff.
Right.
So let's just talk about like you've never turned on Etsy ads in your life, but you want to start. So here's how you do it, you guys.
Okay.
Here's like what you need to do. A lot of people, like this is a mistake I see, is a lot of people want to start at like $1 a day. And I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Like $1 a day isn't going to do anything. That's literally like 3 clicks in Etsy cost per click dollars.
Right.
I mean,
like
just, yeah.
Peanuts.
It's like peanuts. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to really just like bring it home. I'm going to start advertising $1 a day. And you're like, yes. And I'm so sorry, but it just doesn't work. Like you really have to spend money to make money. And this is like, you know, a classic example of this.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to just bite the bullet and pick a budget and set it for 30 days. So if you're like, how much money am I willing to basically light on fire right now? And if I lost it all, it would be okay. And like divide that by 30 and that's your budget.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, okay, I'm willing to lose $300, like that's fine. I'm comfortable with losing that. Then your Etsy ad budget is $10 a day, which is a good starting point. I mean, if you can go higher, that's great too, because you can get more metrics and traction with that. But $10 a day, I feel like is a scary, but still doable starting point.
Okay. So $300 for a month.
Yeah, $300 for a month.
Okay.
But you do it by day. So it'll, you know, possibly make it to 300 if you get all the way on your clicks. Now, if you have like a ton of listings, then you might want to set this higher because your dollars aren't going to go very far if you have like 500 listings on $10 a day.
Okay. So you do want to do ads on all your listings at first or a select amount of listings?
This is how I would start.
Okay.
This is how Etsy recommends it. So if Etsy recommends it this way, this is what I would do.
Right.
Which I didn't really do this at first, but if I was going back, I would have done it the way Etsy said. Mm-hmm. Actually, I kind of did do this. Where step one, like once you set your budget, advertise all of your listings for 30 days. Like the thing with Etsy ads is it's kind of a long-term game and it's all about like getting those metrics, but like you can't get those metrics without those first like 30 days of everything to even know what's converting and what's not.
Okay.
So go ahead and advertise all your listings for 30 days at whatever budget you decide you're willing to burn that money. I know it's really scary, you guys. And it's going to be so tempting to want to like go in and tweak your Etsy ads and be like, oh, let's change this. But don't touch anything for literally 30 days. Like, of course you can monitor it and see like, oh, it's fun to see like, I'll say like, oh, you spent $9.87 today and you made 42. And you're like, oh, okay. It's good to see like stuff is going on. So you can monitor it daily, but like don't change anything for 30 days because Etsy is doing its like optimization for you. Like Etsy says it needs these 30 days to collect all the data and optimize how each ad placement like performs. So it just needs that time. So it's hard to even make changes without that.
Okay. Yes, that is great information for people to have. So I would say like minimum investment here is like really be prepared to dish out $300 for a month. Like just have that number in your mind because if $1 is like peanuts, then it's like you should at least like if you're really considering doing Etsy ads, you should really be budgeting for that amount to get started. That might be like a reasonable expectation to set, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And like during that first 30 days, like you might just break even. You might lose like $1 or $2 or something like that. But I don't think like you're not going to lose all $300. Like you're just not unless you literally have like nothing in your listing and never sold anything. Like you're going to make some money back on that and you'll probably break even or make like, I don't know, like $20 on it. I don't know. It depends on what your listings are and all these types of things. So there's a lot of nuances with it, but don't be so afraid. You'll make it back.
Yeah, don't be afraid because just think of it in even simpler terms. If you spend $10 a day on Etsy ads, you just need to sell one product that's at least $10 and then you're at a quote unquote break even point. And so this way you aren't losing money, quote unquote, as long as it's doing kind of what it should be doing in terms of what Cami is talking about with optimization. But you aren't gaining money, but you're allowing Etsy to like do its magic on the backside so you can see basically like what listings are performing the best, right? Is that kind of like the next step then?
Exactly.
Fine-tuning aspect of it.
The fine-tuning aspect. Because then once you have all those 30 days of data, which is like super important with all this, then you can go into your Etsy marketing backend and look and see, for this past month, these past 30 days, I spent, here, I'm going to like go in mine so I can find like an example on the last 30 days. Like here's one. I spent $63 in ads on this one. I'm just looking at one listing, $63 on this one listing in ads. And I made $245 from those ads on this one print. And then I can see another one. I spent $29 in ads. I made $0 in ads on this one listing. So I'm like, that one's not really converting. So either I'm going to go in and tweak that one to figure out why it's not converting, looking at listing stuff. We'll talk more about that too. Or I'm just going to remove it from my ads completely because I'm like, I am just blowing money on this and I didn't have one conversion from it.
Right.
So then your money is able to go further towards the listings that actually are converting and making you money with ads.
Yes. And I want to say this is actually a very common principle when you start advertising anywhere, whether it is Instagram, Facebook, Google, whatever it is. Like even Cami and I right now are experimenting in our own business, in Biz Birthday Bash actually, with some Facebook advertising. And the company we're using was explaining pretty much exactly the same principle, right? Of like, we're going to run a variety of things for basically a month and see what works best. And then we're going to tweak and fine tune and go from there. So you're essentially applying like the same strategy within Etsy as well. And so I think it's helpful and like reassuring to know basically that a very similar method is used for a lot of like online advertising, regardless of the platform.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that scary initial first step to be like, oh my God, I'm putting this money in. Like, it's just weird feeling, but like you just start to tweak and it's just like such a slow process, but like you're still going to make money. It still pays off, but you just got to optimize it to obviously get the most bang for your buck.
Yes.
So when you're fine tuning, like I mentioned, focus on those ones that have the high conversion. And I also recommend focusing on seasonal items. Like obviously I started Etsy ads like right around the Christmas season. So I like really focus on those. And that was like just massive. Like I knew Christmas would obviously be a huge season for me on Etsy and it always is, but putting the ad spend behind it just like was just like throwing gasoline on the fire. It was awesome. So I was just like, yes. So I did the same thing with like my Valentine's Day listings, just like put a ton of ad spend towards Valentine's Day items. And I definitely like, saw traction from that. So like that's part of my strategy with putting seasonal items. And I would recommend doing it like a month to 2 months out, like because people are searching early. And that way you just start to build up that like, you're already getting kind of ranked. Etsy's algorithm is weird. Like once your listing starts getting views and orders and like positive reviews on it, then it kind of starts to jump up. So you can kind of take advantage of getting those views early on to have a higher ranking once people are really start shopping.
Yeah, agree. This is all really interesting. And so I'm assuming like maybe later in the episode, are you kind of going to address like how many products you need in your shop to make this work? Because I'm sure a lot of people are asking that, because in my mind, I'm like, I don't think a shop with like 5 to 10 products is going to be able to like efficiently use Etsy ads like as a strategy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. See, I'm not sure about like the exact number. I've always heard from other Etsy sellers, like once you get 100 items, that's like when the magic starts happening on Etsy, like 100 products. But as far as like if you have 10 items, I'm just not sure like if this strategy would change or not,
Yes.
Like, I feel like you could just keep the strategy going with like advertising all your listings at that point.
Right. Advertising all 10. The reason that I'm asking is because of this strategy that you had mentioned of promoting all your listings for 30 days and going with your strongest ones, if you only have 10 listings to promote, I mean, it's really hard to get insight from that. So I do think part of the strategy is having more products.
Yeah. Again, that's like the whole thing of like, whatever you're doing, Etsy ads just enhance it. So if you're like not a super strong shop yet, then it's not the right time to start using Etsy ads.
Yeah. It reminds me of my grandma was always like, makeup is just there to enhance your natural beauty, right?
That's
it's
what
not
it is.
there to redo your like entire face necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just like enhancing your natural features. And I feel like with this, it is something that is very similar. Though there are makeup artists that are incredible and can like turn themselves into other people, but that's beside the point.
I know, that's like amazing. I love watching those videos on TikTok.
I love them. I was watching some the other day where it was like these girls were doing ones where it was like half face was like fire and half face was ice. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Anyways, neither here nor there. Back to the Etsy
I get
ads.
So passionate about those two. I'm like, this is incredible. But okay. Anyway, you guys. Yeah. So if you're like not getting organic search traffic or making sales, then it's not time for Etsy ads. Like you still need to do the work of like building up your Etsy shop, filling out all your stuff. And I will talk more about that like further down here. I have it somewhere. Like what you can do. Hey guys, you know we share a ton of free, helpful info here on the podcast, but if you're looking to go deeper, you need our Business Sense for Creatives bundle. This is our foundational resource. We share it all. Our pricing strategies, marketing plans, our favorite print partners, real life examples of our invoices and workflows, and so much more. Literally, it is amazing. It really is the comprehensive guide for a money-making creative biz.
So with the bundle, you'll get access to our 3 webinar replays, Pricing with Purpose, how to be confident when it comes to charging your worth, People and Publicity, how to find clients and deliver an awesome experience, and lastly, Productivity and Processes, how to run your business efficiently and get crap done.
And not to mention, you'll also get our 3 bonus PDF party favors. What? We've heard from students that these are worth the price of it alone. So the party favors are pricing FAQs, the SEO cheat sheet, and a mini favorite vendors guide to get you started on where to print invitations.
So just to clarify, that is not only 3 awesome video recordings, but 3 bonus PDFs as well that support the content from the videos. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Totally. It's the best deal out there. And you have lifetime access to it, which also adds to the whole value. So
woohoo! Don't take it from us though. Take it from the hundreds of students who have learned from the bundle and have said that these were the best, most real and informative webinars that they've ever watched. We've seen students double their prices after watching these and totally skyrocket their businesses.
This is our roadmap of how we got to where we are today, so skip the mistakes and speed bumps, doing it the slow way, and let us put you on the fast track to running a creative biz like a boss and pricing for profit and not just pay.
And the best part, this resource is less than $100. Seriously, y'all, it's only $97 and it's so worth that price and much more. So go to bizbirthdaybash.com/bundle to purchase it today.
Okay. And then further along that question of like, how do I decide what listings to promote? A little bonus tip for you guys is to promote your new items to give it an extra boost, because Etsy's algorithm favors views and orders in their organic search. So this just helps you get like a jump start going when you have a new product listing.
Okay, cool.
It's kind of like how Instagram does, like when they see how well it performs when you first post it. So you want like everyone to comment like immediately. I feel like that's how Etsy works too with like a new product. Mm-hmm. So it's like good to throw some ad spend behind it, or like make sure it's in your marketing thing to like go ahead and just give it a little jump.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird? I kind of think that maybe somebody will like bring this up some point with like legislation or something, but sometimes when Facebook and Instagram prompt you to like boost posts, quote unquote, that seems very like gambly to me. Does that make sense?
It is very gambly. I mean, I feel like Etsy ads are gambling. That's literally how I feel.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And from like a legal perspective, I don't know if that'll ever come up. Like, if someone at some point is going to like say something about it, I don't know. Sorry, that is just like a total Elizabeth thought that really doesn't relate, but
It kind of relates.
it kind of relates a little bit,
relate.
especially with like the boosting aspect, because it's like, really, what exactly does this do? Like, people don't like understand a boost, as opposed to on the back end with their like ads manager and stuff for Etsy. You can see things a little more clearly in terms of stats, but I don't know. It's yeah, I mean, it is kind of like a gamble. Whether or not it's gambling, I guess we'll wait to see if anyone ever sues them.
I feel like a crazy person, like literally like I'm gambling my money, because I go check my like Etsy ad stats like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a day, just like see what's going on. I don't know. Like I like to keep up with it. Like today I can see, okay, so today I've spent $19.01, but I made 73 from that spend.
Whoa, okay.
Isn't that fun?
It's like the stock market.
I know, it
like,
really, that's what it's like.
Ads.
And so I'll like in another hour, I'll go check it and I can see like, oh, here's what I spent on this. And like, you can see how many ad views, like on this one birthday card, I can see today 674 views on it with 18 clicks in one order. So you can like do the math and figure out all that like conversion rate and stuff. But obviously that's only for like a very small period of time. So like looking at your stats over like 30 days or like the whole year or whatever, will give you a much better like sense of what's going on. But it's like fascinating to like look at everything.
Yes. And I was going to say, are you willing to share like publicly with the audience? Because I think you shared within the private Facebook group, but are you willing to share publicly what your like highest ad spend was during Christmas?
Oh yeah. I'm sharing that later when I talk about ROAS, because I have the actual formula.
Okay. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, because it's crazy. So that's all the listings, you like how to decide which ones to promote. Like gives you a little intro there. And then like another question you guys might be asking too. We talked about like starting with $10 a day, but how much should you spend? And I have some thoughts on this as well. So Etsy, when you first start out, it does like limit your spend. So I think it's like starts with like you can max spend $50, but most people are like $1. But if you actually spend their max that they give you, $50, then like 2 days later, it'll be like, oh, now your max is $100. It really is like gambling. It sucks you in and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
So you can like literally add on more. And as you keep going, like mine got up to like $650 because during Christmas, I was like throwing money at ads. Because I honestly, I didn't really have a strategy because I didn't really know how they were working yet. So I would be like, let's just take it. I would go up like $100 a day because I was like, why not? Let's just see. And then there came a point where like you don't even hit that ad spend anymore. And that's where I was going to talk about here. Like there's a threshold. Like let's say your spend is at $250, but you notice like over a week, you're really only hitting like $197, $200, $205. You're never getting close to that $250. So at that point, I would like bring it down to $200 because Etsy is going to try to like spend that extra money that you have on your ad spend on like weird keywords that might not necessarily be like super relevant for your product because they want to like get your money that you're giving them basically.
Right.
So like take note of that and be like, oh, okay. Like I had a point where I was like put like 550 and I was like only getting 500. So I was like, okay, I'll just drop it down or whatever. And like, so, you know, I didn't have that extra money going out anywhere. And then I was reading some sources today too, that some people just literally monitor all day and go up by like 2 cents because Etsy will still spend the 2 cents instead of like a normal cost per click being around like 30 cents. They'll spend it for like 2, but they just like to make the cost per click lower.
Oh my gosh.
Because Etsy will still like keep your listing up because there's money in your ad account or whatever, but you're not paying as much for the link on it or whatever.
Wow, sounds like a full-time job.
I was like, who has the time for that? And people are like, yeah, that's what I do. I just sit around and like up it by like 2 cents. And I'm like, that is crazy. Like, I don't have the time to do that. But
and to clarify for people listening, Cammie's examples, she's literally talking about like per day, like spending $250 per day. This is like not per month anymore.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I should have put a lower one for the day. If you were trying to hit 100 and you like, if you had $100 ad spend a day, but you were only hitting like $62, then I'd put your ad spend at like 65.
Exactly. Perfect.
But check on every day because days are weird. Like some, like, you know, maybe the Super Bowl Sunday, people aren't buying a ton of stuff. So your ads will be low or whatever. You know, you just got to like keep in mind that. That's why I like to like check every day because you don't get like the individual days when you go back and look at your stats for 30 days. Or at least I don't think you do. Maybe you do. So I can just like take note of that. Like I don't like write it down or anything. Like why would I do that? But just to like know, like have a general temperature of what's going on.
Right. Do you know what's so interesting to me is that like Etsy still charges like the 20 cents per product listing. And I'm like, don't you think they could drop it down to like 10 and be totally fine? Or would that just like carve out a massive hole in their profit?
Doing everything. Oh, I know. Like Etsy is making bank over there on all of us, especially me with all the ads money.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, so let's move into talking about like how you know it's working, basically.
Okay.
Because that's probably like the scariest part for people is trying to decipher everything. Like what the heck is actually going on? Is this actually benefiting my business? And we could talk a little bit later too, Cami, about like your strategies behind just everyday sales, right? There's other reasons why you're doing Etsy ads. But let's talk first about like how people know it's working.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like earlier I talked about return on advertising spend, or your ROAS, which is like a fancy little acronym there. Basically, how much money are you making for each dollar you spend on advertising? So the ROAS number is going to like vary depending on like what type of things you're selling, what your profit margin is, like what the cost of your items are, all these types of things. But Etsy says that a good benchmark for successful ROAS is starting at like 2.8, which is like 280%. And to get your ROAS, you divide your revenue by your advertising dollars spent.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Revenue divided by advertising dollars. So last year, during Christmas, I spent $11,581 on ads.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
During the month of December.
Yes, this was during November, December.
Okay.
And I made $27,903.
Okay.
So that with those two numbers, I would divide 27,000 divided by the 11,000, and you get 2.4 as your ROAS, or your return on advertising spent, which means that for every dollar I spent on advertising, I was making $2.4.
Okay.
Yes.
And so Etsy says a good benchmark for successful ROAS is 2.8.
Yeah,
so
aiming like for 2.8. I mean, some people have like 5 as their ROAS. I mean, you can go like pretty high, like, you know, depending on it. I know mine is lower because I have $5 cards. So I would sell a ton of individual cards with Etsy ads as well. So it's going to like obviously bring down that ROAS. And like during Christmas, the Christmas card, like cost per click, that keyword is super high cost per click. So like by the time someone buys a card from me, like my profit margin is probably really small.
Okay.
You know, so, but I also was like, that's part of my strategy as well, because I'm like, once I get a card in their hand, one, that's another buyer for me who's probably going to return. Like typically I have a really good return rate with customer conversion. And two, with a card, they're sending it to someone else. So that's 2 people who are going to have my product in their hand with my information on the back. So I'm like, that's kind of like, yeah, I'm still making money with it. It's not as much as like I would make if I wasn't running ads for it. But now I've had my product touch 2 people's hands. They can feel the quality and be like, wow, this is really nice. Go check out my website and hopefully like convert. So it's like another way of like funneling people back to me with actual like something in their hand, like something physical. So yeah, banking on all that stuff. But I do have a lot of people be like, oh, I love your cards. I came back because I bought a Christmas card. So I feel like it pays off. I mean, I'm still making money, obviously, in the ROAS, but, you know, I want to make it higher.
Yes. And my next question, because, like, I'm sure everyone is probably thinking about this. I mean, I think about stuff like this because I'm, like, systems and numbers and all of this great stuff. Your revenue during, like, the November, December ad spend was $27,903. If we subtract the $11,581 that you spent on ads to get that revenue, you have $16,322. So that begs the question, do you think your revenue still could have been $16,300 without spending any ads?
Yeah, see, I don't know. That's why I'm like, that's $16,000 that I'm pocketing that I wouldn't have had without those ads. So, like, to me, that's, you know, absolutely worth it. Like,
well, that you don't, right. This is my question, though, that you don't know, though. You still could have done $16,000 in revenue without ads.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is only the revenue from ads itself, you know? Like, obviously, there's still sales coming in without it, but, like, I don't know if, like, if I would have made that or not.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. No, this is so good to clarify because $27,903 is just what you made from your advertisements.
That is just from advertising. That is like the amount that I made not from advertising is higher than that. This is just pure, like I can say like someone clicked on this ad and purchase, and that would have not have happened without that. Like this is like extra.
Amazing. I'm glad that we had that clarification, because for a second I was thinking that was like your revenue for your whole shop. Like I like either misheard or misunderstood. And I was like, first of all, I was like, I know for a fact she like did way more. Okay. We're just talking about, I like that they measure it like that. The return on advertising spend. Okay.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Guys, was anyone else confused, or is it just me? Everyone's probably like, no, everyone's probably like, Elizabeth, she totally explained it.
No, I don't think I did. That was just pure ad revenue. And that was the ad spend. So to me, that's just like a separate little pocket of money that like my other stuff's doing its own thing and people are coming in. But that is like someone clicked on an ad that might not have seen my stuff before and then bought something. So that amazing. Is direct. Yes. I love seeing that. Isn't that so fun? So I can say like Etsy ads definitely brought me like $16,000 profit. Like extra money.
Cool. I'm completely on board now and feeling much better.
I know. See, so isn't that like fun to think about though? And you're like, oh, I get it. So like obviously you're still making money.
Yes.
But you got to spend money to make money. And like spending $11,000 on ads is like insane to think about. But like I don't even think about it. I just like set the budget. And I could see like every day I was like making profit or whatever. And so I was like, okay, let's see how it plays out. Now my credit card points are fantastic, obviously.
Yes. My other question is like, what percentage of your holiday sales were the 27,000? Does that make sense? Were they like a quarter of your holiday sales, like a third of your holiday sales?
Let me go.
Sorry, guys. I'm really making Cami pull back the layers and just expose all the financial information about her business.
I don't even know how to like figure that out quickly. But it's probably like, I mean, it's not even a half.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was thinking it'd be a fourth or a third, maybe.
Yeah, probably something like that. I don't know, like off the top of my head. I'm like clicking around over here, but now you're stressing me out because I didn't pull that stat up. But yeah, probably like a fourth or a third, something like that.
Perfect. Okay. No, you don't have to have the exact number by any means. That was more of like a guesstimate type of situation, because I'm sure if I'm wondering, I'm sure other people are wondering.
Maybe like a third. I don't know. So yeah, you want to be able to calculate your ROAS by your ad revenue and then by how much you spent on ads. So ad revenue divided by what you spent on ads. That'll give you a very simple number. And you can find that in your Etsy marketing stats. Super easy. Just do it for like the past 30 days. That'll give you like a really good benchmark to work from. Be like, oh, okay, I can like bring this up. How can I like, and give yourself something to work with to try to aim for that 2.8, which is what I'm trying to do. So like I was tweaking stuff this morning, being like, okay, well I have literally all of my cards being advertised right now, which I have no idea why. So let me like take some of those off because, that's just like taking away money that could be going towards like higher profit margin stuff, which will bring that return higher.
Right. And some of like your older style cards too that have been around in your shop a lot longer, I would imagine you're probably trying to promote the new ones with like the cute little animals and the solid color backgrounds, like things that really like scream Cami Monet. Or am I just like projecting?
My old ones sell still really well too. Like it's like, I don't have a lot of like the really old ones on there. Like I discontinued a ton of stuff, but I love when like people buy a pack of 6 of cards and I'm like, yes, the return on investment on that's so much higher.
Yes.
So yeah, like that's why with like seasonal cards, those are always like going to be like, I'm always going to be swapping those out because those do great for me. And the thing is too, guys, if someone clicks on like a cute card and then they buy like $100 worth of stuff, like that still counts toward your revenue spend. Like I can see that someone like clicked on a cat card and then they end up buying that card and like 5 other prints. And then it'll be like, okay, from this listing, you made $200 from that 30-cent click.
Yes.
So amazing. It's just like a great way to get eyeballs into your shop as well. Get those visits up.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
So that's like your benchmark for that. Now let's talk about like how to actually make the ads work and convert, because that's obviously the most important thing. Like you can spend money on ads all day and get people like the ads there, but if no one's like actually buying anything, then what do you do with your life?
Right, exactly. Because there's a lot of other people running ads. And if someone has a prettier photo than yours and it's more clear to see what the product is, like they're probably going to get the clicks. So
yeah, exactly. So like I said before, Etsy ads only enhance what you're already doing. So in order to make your shop set up for success as much as possible, which we probably need to do an episode just like laying out the basics of this because there's so much and this is like really glossing over things.
Yeah.
But basically having your SEO like awesome, which SEO is search engine optimization. It's just like Google, except, tailored toward Etsy and the way Etsy buyers work. So having all those keywords, those long tail keywords, which just means it's more like a phrase. So instead of being like t-shirt, you would be like blue cat t-shirt or whatever, like very specific in your titles and in your tags, within your description of the listing itself, filling out every single field Etsy gives you. Like if Etsy is like, oh, fill out the attributes of this product, like fill them out, like fill out everything to 100%, because that makes your listing just like, I don't know, be favorable to the Etsy gods. So they'll like put you further in the organic search. Some great tools for checking Etsy keywords real quick off the top of my head. Marmalade, eRank, Keyword Tool Dominator. I think there's like Sales Samurai or something. Keysearch.co. There's quite a few. I think Marmalade's the most popular one, because I was checking it out today. I literally was like, I'll buy a month of this and see. So I was like looking at it today, but I'm not like loving it yet, but I literally only had it for like an hour. So
Okay.
I'll keep you posted on that, guys. And then my favorite way of finding keywords is just like using Etsy search itself to find keywords and like checking competitors. So like typing in like watercolor art print or watercolor greeting cards and seeing like what comes up, what types of keywords are in their tags, or like, how it'll give you the drop down of other suggested things. Like it'll be like, oh, watercolor greeting card for him or whatever. And then like knowing, oh, that's something people are searching enough where they're putting it as a suggested keyword. So keeping that in mind for your titles, tags, all that fun stuff.
Can I ask a question too? Just like to follow up for some clarification. When you say tools for checking Etsy keywords like Marmalade that you said you're trying right now, what exactly are you checking for? Are you checking how much that keyword is used, where it ranks? Like, what is a program like that telling you that's important?
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I just started it. So I think it would tell you like other suggested keywords. Like if you typed in like, I keep using cat birthday card because that's what I was searching earlier. It'll tell you like other suggested keywords, or like how many searches happen for that every month on Etsy, or like it has like little green lights, red lights on like, oh, this is a high converting one, or this is not a good one. Like I'm just trying to figure it out. But I think it would just like give you higher converting keywords that people are actually clicking through, and like suggested ones based off that. Like, oh, if you have this, then this is also a good one to use. Like funny birthday card would also be like another tag to use with that. So I don't know. I'll keep you posted on that. But that's basically the whole gist with that, because you want your keywords to be as like robust as possible and match and very relevant, because people are like searching specifically for stuff. So if you can provide them that specific thing, then you're going to have higher conversions.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. That was kind of just like what I was wondering. And then just to tell people again, to reiterate this one more time, like if you're not already making organic sales because you don't have your shop set up right, Etsy ads are not for you. Like you're just not ready for it yet. So take everything Cami is saying to heart and just get that set up as well as you possibly can before doing any sort of advertisement. And not to go back to like the Facebook, Instagram comparison at this point, but part of the reason Cami and I were willing to give that a try for Biz Birthday Bash is because we feel like the past 2 years we've had really good organic traffic already. And the same principle applies. Like if you don't have traffic to something, you can't just like magically zap your way to success, because you need the traffic to help you determine that your products are desired and sought after. Does that make sense? Because like if it won't sell without ads, it won't sell with ads. That is just like the harsh reality.
Womp, womp. Yeah. And that's like that 30-day testing period where like you decide whatever amount you're willing to burn in the backyard. Like that is like, that's your testing period to be like, wow, I'm spending a lot of money on this and it's not converting. Like then you're like, okay, here's what I need to do, which brings me perfectly to this next segue. So like once you do your 30-day testing period, because that's literally the foundation for setting up everything. Like, so if your views are low on a listing, then your problem with that is your tags and titles aren't great. So you need to like revisit redoing your tags and titles to make sure you're appearing in relevant searches. Okay. So if views are low, your problem is tags and titles. If your clicks are low, which means people might be viewing it a ton from like Etsy search pages, but they're not actually clicking through to it, maybe your images suck. Like images are so huge on Etsy. Like I cannot stress this enough. Like if your images are not good, you are not going to get sales on Etsy, and Etsy ads are 100% not going to work. Like I think that's probably one of the biggest things with Etsy ads is the images. Because if it's just sitting up there and it's not like looking cute, then no one's going to click through to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then also you're not going to be spending anything because you only pay for money on Etsy ads if someone clicks your listing.
Right.
So yeah, and if clicks are low as well, it could be your price point because, when you're searching through, it has the prices right there. So maybe you're like, have a greeting card and you have it for $20. Like that's just your price out of the market. So just checking that kind of stuff as well. And then if you're still getting a lot of views and a lot of clicks, but you're not getting those conversions. So people are seeing all your stuff, they're getting there, they're clicking on it, and they're like, okay, but they don't actually buy it. So then you're just spending money on those ads because people are actually clicking, but you're not making the sales to cover that cost. Make sure that you're giving the shopper enough information so they feel confident buying from you. And what makes a shopper feel confident buying from you is having those nice, robust, positive reviews, having all the information there. Like, is it easy to understand? Is it like a product that, requires explanation? Like, I don't know, like a perpetual calendar or something where you're like, oh, this has something we put all your birthdays and you use it year after year. Like maybe you're just not giving them enough information, or like the shipping's too high. There could be a lot of different factors here. So that one's a little trickier to figure out why it's not converting.
Okay, yeah, definitely interesting. It is like a long ongoing, continuous experiment.
It really is. And so it's a lot to take in, guys. I know. So I was like freaking out trying to put this episode together because I was like, gosh, there's so much information. I don't want to overwhelm them, but it's a lot to think about. Like, honestly, it gave me a lot of things to think about when I was just like, writing down all the things I know. I was like, I should revisit some things, like actually taking the time.
Yeah. And can I ask you too, Cami, did you do any sort of like research from other makers regarding Etsy ads or take any like courses or anything, or did you just like dive right in?
No, I just don't write it.
Okay, cool.
As usual.
Honestly, I love that though, because then people are getting like your true, honest, raw perspective without what you were told to do from someone else. And
I have no idea if this is all right, but this is like my experience and my perspective.
Yes.
So take that with a grain of salt. I mean, the thing like where the ROAS is like 2.8 is literally from like Etsy's seller's handbook. Like a lot of stuff there's a lot of good info in there, obviously. But yeah, this is like literally my experience. I would love to like take a class from someone on this or have someone do it for me. But like, there's a lot to think about,
Yes. No, I like that too, because it's just like a great disclaimer for our audience as well, that it's like we're getting like the true raw Cami first look that hasn't been like filtered through somebody else's viewpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And guys, like I'm still playing with this and experimenting because it is like, it's not like one day you make a change, you're like, oh, that worked. Okay. Like it's literally like 30 days out for everything you do. Like, I mean, you're going to, the ads still work or whatever, but like to really see if what you did had an effect, like I changed some tags and titles on some listings today that I was like, they're getting tons of clicks, but they're not or they're getting views, but they're not getting clicks. Like, what's the deal? So I was like, okay, let me figure this out. So I changed some things and now I just kind of like monitor those and see if those like start to change in the next 30 days. So.
Right.
Oh, so yeah. And another great thing too is when you're advertising your listings, you can click on the individual listing within Etsy marketing and it'll tell you like what keywords brought that buyer there. So you could be like, why the heck am I showing up in this weird keyword? Like, I don't want to have clicks from this. So figure out like why, what keyword is bringing them there or something like that. Cause it kind of gives you like a flow chart of what brought them there.
Yeah.
Which is helpful.
Yeah. That's really helpful. Definitely.
Yeah. It's all just like tweak and repeat, you guys. It's just a lot, but yeah, my strategy right now is kind of just like focusing on those higher converting ones. I've definitely done like my entire shop for a while. So I've just been making tweaks like the past week, honestly.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I guess I do have my ads turned on for $5 a day or something like that, but it does not look like it's spending that per day at all. Oh yeah, I spent $15 in the last 30 days, so it's not hitting $5 a day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it's time to make some adjustments.
Well, do you know why that is, y'all? Because I'm only advertising one listing. So that would be the problem.
That's it. Oh yeah. No, Elizabeth, you got to do it for like 30 days and like get all the data because you'll be like, oh, once you have all the data, you'll like know what to do. Unlike me, who's just like free for all, but you would actually know what to do. So
yeah, that's true. It is hard because so many of the things in my Thank You Society shop are greeting cards. And it's like, I just don't have those higher priced items that I would hope that they would maybe add on,
Yeah, I know what you mean. But if you do packs of 6, encourage them to buy packs of 6 or like a bundle pack or something.
Yeah, very true.
To get that up.
Good things to think about if I even, bother with Thank You Society
I
this
know.
year. Oh man, 2020 just really threw a wrench in it, didn't it? But that's okay.
I know. Well, you guys, if you guys start to experiment with Etsy ads and we should do like an Etsy ads challenge, except I don't know enough to like lead that. You know what I mean? It would just be like, let's see what happens, which is stupid.
I don't want people to like be mad because they're like, they did a challenge and I spent all this money.
I know, it's like stresses me out. But if you want to like do one like low key with me, like whenever this comes out, I would love to hear like your experience with it, you guys, and like just keep us posted. We love to hear y'all's thoughts on it, or like success or tips, whatever, like all the things. So
yeah, something that could be a cool idea is maybe we let people ask us like, hey, do you think my Etsy shop is in a good spot to do it? Right?
Yeah.
We could take a look and be like, oh, maybe like photos need to be better or some better tags or you need more products. I don't know. But I also know we don't have the bandwidth or time to audit everyone's Etsy shops.
I know. I don't even have time to audit all mine. I like see stuff. I'm like, why is this even here? Where did this come from? I forgot about this listing.
Yes. It could be cool. Like maybe it could be cool to post in the Facebook group to be like, if anyone's considering Etsy ads, share your shop here and let's all give each other some like feedback based on like, the episode, this Etsy ads episode about whether or not doing some ad spend could maybe like be helpful. Make it a little community audit.
Another perk to join the A to Z directory, you guys, because we do fun things in there all the time.
I know. So we really do. We spoil our members so much and we love having people be a part of it. And I'm finally getting like really organized. Not that we weren't organized before. I just didn't even realize like Facebook groups could do this. So now all of our like past power hour sessions are in this cute little guide and you can just like scroll through it and you can pick a video and you can see the exact questions we answered to that video and the little description. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this just makes me so happy.
Yeah, I was like seeing those pop through. I was like, dang, she is freaking on it right now. I don't know what's happening.
Trying, but then they all like shared to the feed and I was like, oh, what is happening? Now everyone's going to be all confused. I'm sharing all these old videos. I wanted to ask you too, Cami, in terms of the ads, what's the deal with offsite ads for Etsy? Because I know that's very confusing to some people.
Yeah, I put that as a little note, but I'm decided we're not going to talk about it because it's a whole nother thing. Okay. But just a little tidbit about offsite ads. Etsy just like introduced offsite ads, which are different than the actual Etsy ads on their platform. So offsite ads are like your listing will be advertised on like Pinterest or Google or whatever. And they only take money from that if you sell an item. So it doesn't even matter if people click on it. They only you only pay for it if someone actually buys it. So the max, Etsy will take 12% of that sale if you sell an item. And if you make less than 10K through Etsy, the fee is 15%, but you are able to turn off offsite ads. But like, I would leave them on if I were you. Like, that's my advice. But because like you're not being charged for just having ads, you only get charged if you make a sale. So you can obviously afford 15% of your sale,
Right.
So that's my 2 cents on that. There's like more about that, but there's just no reason to confuse anybody. But those are like automatic.
Anyone. I think the basic principle is Etsy wants to be able to use their sellers' products to like market Etsy. That's what it comes down to.
The only way you could, if you make more than 10K on Etsy, you are like automatically on offsite ads, whether you want to be or not. Like you have to be on them. But I looked at my stats for that and I'm like my money making back from that is like really good. So I was like, I'm not worried about this at all. But if you wanted to get off them, if you're really worried about it, you could put like a watermark of your images because they can't use images that have watermarks. But why would you do that? Don't do that, you guys. It's just like something people worry so like in these Etsy forums and stuff, people get like so worried about spending money with ads or like the 15% payment or 10% payment. I'm like, you guys, if you're priced correctly, 10%, 15%, 12% is not going to make a difference. Like, it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a sale. Oh, my God. Don't even get me started. I get so fired up about this. Oh, jeez. So
you're so funny.
Oh, yeah. So let your money work for you. Like, they want to advertise your stuff. Heck yeah. It's great.
I have to say, I do feel like this has been an incredibly jam-packed episode because we are already almost about to hit 50 minutes and Cami has basically been like covering the notes the whole time. Like we only did like one.
I did it.
Yeah, we only did like one tiny little tangent about like makeup tutorials on TikTok and I would say that's a record.
I literally wrote these notes in like 22 minutes. I really did. Because I was so panicked and forgot about everything going on in my life. And I was like, oh my God.
We got off another call and we were supposed to record this episode, and Cammie was like, Elizabeth, I just need like 20 minutes to get my thoughts together on this. And I was like, you go, girl. Like, do what you need to do. And then once it's done and out of the way, we'll just all feel so much better.
I do feel so much better. You guys, I used to say, like, I remember one of our podcast episodes, someone was like, how do you guys go out of town with like a shop? And I was like, no big deal. Like, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. Like, I don't know. I'm like so stressed out right now, just trying to get things out the door before I leave, because there's like wholesale orders that have like seasonal things. I'm like, oh my Lanta.
I know. Maybe we need to revisit that topic.
Like, we can definitely revisit that topic, but I don't have a good answer right now. I have zero idea. So I'll let you know.
Yes. Like, maybe we need to pull an expert, right?
I need someone to tell me what to do. Like, I don't have all the answers. So,
well, we know that you need to hire basically a factory to produce your pennants.
I know.
So I guess that would be number one. Everyone would be like outsourced, but easier said than done.
I was thinking about raising the price on them, actually.
Honestly, that might not be a bad idea.
24.
I was going to possibly say something about that, but I didn't want to like
I'm going to tell you what my cost is, and then when we get off.
Okay, cool. Sorry, guys, you are pertinent to that, but I'm sure.
I guess I could tell them, but I would feel bad if people who are like actually bought them.
No. We do not need to cover that here for sure.
Okay.
That is confidential information, and maybe if somebody asked in the Facebook group,
I will tell you this: that the packaging costs more than the actual pennant and ribbon.
Stop. That is so funny, Cammie. How?
That's all I'm gonna say.
All it is plastic sleeve. Okay, we'll talk about this after.
Okay. Anyway, you guys, I hope that's helpful. And if you're using Etsy ads, or you have experience with them, or you're going to try your 30-day like foundational setup, let us know. You can find us on Instagram at BizBirthdayBash. You can join our awesome Facebook group, going to bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to join the A to Z directory and get privy to all of our fun stuff. Like, we'll be doing a little Etsy audit session, I guess it sounds like, in the group. So
at some point when we get
a low-key one, not official.
Yeah, not super official. Plus, I don't think we don't have to worry about that for another couple weeks, perchance. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
This episode comes out next week.
Oh, that's so fun though. Okay, great. Because I always get so amped up, and then I'm like, oh, I can't be excited for like another 6 weeks.
No, yeah. So this is crazy. By the time people are listening to this, y'all, we just recorded it last Friday. So hey, yo,
I will be on a mountain, covered in snow. It's gonna be great. I'm so pumped. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So exciting. Absolutely love it. All right, y'all. Leave us a rating and review if you love us. That's all I have to say today.
Yes, we love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Toodles.
Hey there, fellow stationers. Are you creating custom invitations and still sending a lackluster contract that's hacked together with Google searches and generic templates? We've got you.
We've created a custom stationery contract written for stationers by stationers, and it is lawyer reviewed and approved. #LegalRockstar. The custom stationery contract template covers every stationery snafu, protects you and your client's interests, and sets up an expectation of professionalism. We've combined our previous contracts as well as years of experience to bring you a contract that covers your booty and your biz. Become a put-together pro and breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you have a contract that is easy to understand and avoids confusing legal jargon.
The custom stationery contract template is only $297, which is much less than what you can expect to pay anywhere else, and it's written by 2 gals who have seen it all.
Spoiler alert, it's us.
It's time to do things right. Go to bizbirthdaybash.com/contract to purchase and download your copy today. And as a special treat, use code PODCAST2020 to get $20 off. And that's podcast all caps 2020 to get $20 off.
Woohoo!